I honestly feel like I should just reveal right now my real goal with this whole episode is for us to all sell our houses and start a band and just go on tour. Um, be- because uh, because I feel like all of you make the kind of music. I just want to play drums for you guys. That's really what's going on here. But Doug,
Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the Stay Creative Podcast, a show that I started with the goal of sharing independent music from a community that I am a part of, getting to know the artists who create it and giving them space to share some more about themselves and some more of their music. In having these conversations with people, I've discovered that they are significantly more than independent artists. They are human beings with stories and encouragements and highs and lows like anybody else, and that comes out in their music. And I think the point where our lives and our art stop being separate and start being kind of a one cohesive thing, that's when we start to produce the things that are the truest to ourselves. So I wanted to make space for us to have the conversations about the lives we're living and how that becomes the art we're making. This season we're going to be doing all video interviews, so get used to seeing my face, I guess. But it's good. I'm really excited to not only share the good friends that I've made, the good art that they make, with more people, but I'm excited to have more people talk to me, and that's why we're doing the show live when we can on Twitch. So I hope you come over to Twitch and get to know some of my favorite artists. Like I like to say, I take pride in introducing my current favorite artists to my future favorite artists. So I really am hoping you pick up things in these conversations and in these creations and in these real people's stories and lives that applies to your own creative practice and encourages you to make more things, to share more things, and to encourage others. So I hope you enjoy the episode.
Doug, tell me some about the music you're making right now, like the stuff you're about to release. I'm really excited to talk about that EP you've got.
Pultixima is my artist name. My name is Doug in real life. Paul, Doug, that's totally fine. I've been making music for a pretty long time. I took a long break, about 10 years in between an old artist name, Shifter Shapes. And then I found IMF and then started making music under the new name of Pultixima. I got an EP coming out April 16th. Atlantic Canyons is featured on it, as well as you, Mr. Barabbas T. Jones.
I'm pointing at the wrong screen.
And I've been kind of on a sad boy kick lately. So I've been making a lot of. I've been building out a concept album about a fictional murder in a lake town. I'm feeling a little bit gloomy after it, to be honest with you guys. I'm feeling a little sad. And it's not helping that I'm drinking tea from last night, but it's totally fine. But now I'm starting to kind of get into some new stuff. Actually, oddly enough, Andrew, you said your wife was listening to Dolly Parton earlier, so I'm starting to get a little bit more into country and punk, going back to some roots in high school, old bands I used to listen to, and really just up the fun in my life a little bit, as opposed to talking about murder, kill, or whatever you want to say.
Speaking of murder, kill, Francis, tell us some about you.
Thanks for the intro.
Yeah.
So I'm Francis Gein. I'm from Scotland, so I think I'm the only person here not from America, so woohoo.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Obviously everyone knows me for my love of Nirvana and Britney Spears. I like trying to just sort of combining both of them. Like, they're both really like important things in my life. I love like dance pop music, but I also love rock, and I like to try and find ways to sort of subtly like put them together, even if it lyrically and musically, if you know what I mean. What else was I gonna say? I used to play, I started playing piano and trombone when I was quite young, and I always kind of like loved like jazz and like classical, and I was like into that, and I kind of like dipped out of that for a while. And then I started learning because obviously the lockdown in the UK happened. I think it was actually last April, and so I finally had time and like money to buy a guitar, and so I started learning that. And then I found this on Reddit, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And I've just kind of really sort of fallen in love with songwriting. I think that's like my crux. That's like my favorite part of
Yeah,
music is like just that art of it. And so yeah, it's just been good to, especially like having like the like reviews and having people like comment on your stuff. I think listening to other people who are not like like indie artists, it really improves your own stuff, so you start learning up like new techniques, and I really quite like that. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Quick question: can you guys hear the lawnmower outside my window?
I
No.
don't think
Okay,
so.
awesome, good. Then I'm going to pretend I can't hear either. The I want to start
It's a quiet
a
moment.
question with you, Francis, because that's insane to me that you've only been playing guitar like a year at this point. You know?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's super impressive. First off, but also just like the you use it in a way with your own vocal ideas that seems really natural. Like you already know how to like keep the guitar out of the way of your singing in a way that I think is impressive and honestly, maybe it just falls back to like that kind of nirvana of reliance, you know, like it's more of the guitar is for rhythm, the vocals are the melody, you know. But I
Yeah,
enjoy
no,
that.
definitely.
No, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, because I didn't really, because I was never a singer before. I only started that probably after I did guitar.
That's
Maybe
crazy.
I think I probably started like using like YouTube videos to like get better at it. Maybe in August or something. Like, see, when I listen back to like my old stuff, like in September, I'm like it's so bad. Like it's so out of tune. I'm like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
this literally the worst. Like I have this video. I remember once, oh, who was it? There was going to be like a baby, like a thing where we were going to share like our first videos. That never
Baby
ended up
photos,
happening.
baby pictures.
I
Yeah.
can promise you I'm going to win because the one I have is horrific. It's The Man Who Sold the World, and it's literally like I'm not just like trying to be modest. I promise you, it is the worst thing you ever hear, and I'm so excited to share it one day.
You should have shared that today. I've got
I know,
yeah,
no. I want to show something kind of good. I don't want that'll be for another time, but I will one day.
Yeah, we'll steal that idea. We'll have a baby pictures like episode or something, and
Yeah.
we'll all just share our worst songs.
We were gonna have that actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it got cancelled, but hopefully it happens. I don't know if they're watching this just now, but whoever it was, do it because I want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually didn't pay attention and sent in an actual baby picture of myself because I had no clue that it was actually about the audio. So I'm just sending this photo of me on like a little rocking horse when I was like 3.
Well, maybe everyone did that, and that's why it got canceled.
That's why I got canceled.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't remember who was gonna do it either, but that would be funny if they're just like, well, I guess I'm like a baby picture collector now. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all these, you know. They just got a photo album somewhere at home. Francis, I wanted to ask you, man, in the time that you have been making music, writing songs, what have been some of just like the worst moments, the worst parts of it?
I think when you try to write a song, I think see the moment when you say to yourself, "Oh, I should do this," and you go and do it, and you can't, or it's rubbish, and then you start doubting yourself, and you start thinking, "I can't write a song, I can't sing, I can't play," and then everything and your head just starts like falling apart. Or it does for me in a way, and I start just thinking, "Oh my god, like why do I think I just start doubting myself." But then I think it's the days where you just kind of wake up one your guitar and something just happens naturally. Other days that kind of remind yourself that, oh no, okay, maybe I'm not the worst person in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think when you try too hard, or at least for me, when I overthink things quite a lot. So I've been trying to not do that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that like leading with intuition produces some of the best work I've done, and any single time that I have tried to actually sit down and be like, oh, I got this great theme, I'm gonna knock this out of the park, it's way great, and I sit down and nothing comes out. But when you leave with that intuition, like either that emotion that you have or how you're feeling in the day, and you start kind of just letting things spill out, you really really get a lot to work with. That's really valuable.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's funny. Like often I feel like a broken record when it comes to like the things that I suggest to people, but like journaling is a big one for me because you aren't even considering songwriting yet. You're just getting ideas out. And some of those are going to naturally become lyrics eventually if you keep kind of revisiting them. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, I started a diary at the start, like in the new year, and I would say that my thought process has been completely, because like even just writing down like your day and how it's made you feel, you might write a line, you're like, oh, that's quite good, and then you might
Did I lose the call or did Francis lose the call?
She's frozen. We're still good.
No, Francis, if you can hear us, try to hang up and get back in the call. Andrew, what do you think about that? Do you tell me some more? So
yeah,
what is your degree specifically in? You went to like college for music,
yeah.
right?
So my degree is, I think, commercial music performance with a minor in jazz studies. But like what that boils down to is guitar major that wasn't studying classical. So jazz, country, rock. I did some gospel, did some like Latin, all kinds of, cool stuff in there.
So do you think
I definitely
that
resonate with the idea of that Francis was talking about not getting frustrated with trying to write songs. I actually haven't written a song since I finished this project that I'm was probably like 8 months ago, I guess, and that I still am getting ready to release. I've released like one song from it, but it's been a weird one for me creatively, for sure. Which is probably one of the reasons why I'm learning bladesmithing now. It's just totally different, and also I don't have to think about it as hard. It's just like you can kind of just do the thing, and then either it turns out great or it doesn't. But
which I mean feels like a really free way to approach almost anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything that doesn't.
Hey! Yay!
Best Wi-Fi in the house, and it still goes off.
Oh man, it's all those books. They're jealous. They're like, we have information too. That was a stupid thing to say. I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about.
That's the beauty of a live show, though.
Yeah, exactly. And ADL, you have one of those names that I always feel like I'm pronouncing wrong. Is it Andrea or Andrea?
It's Andrea. It doesn't matter to me, but that's what my mama calls me.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, Andrea. What do you think about the like kind of intuition versus like hard work, I guess, like the forcing something to happen versus letting it happen?
Yeah, I think there's no correlation in terms of quality, whether something hard or. I think I could say I've had on approaches, but my favorite, and I don't know.
Yeah. The songs that write themselves. I really like those kinds of things.
But also, when I do struggle, I try to keep attachment. Because I like about you put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of self. So I try not to put too much pressure on. If that means I work on something 15 minutes.
Yeah. Like Pomodoros. Have you ever heard of that? The Pomodoro thing, where you work hard for like 20 minutes and take a 10-minute break, and then work hard for 20 minutes and take a 10-minute break. Like that kind of.
I've never heard of that, but I think it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and it can take a really long time to get done, but, you walk away, even if it's like 15, 20 minutes and I'm back fresh. I'm attached. Pain.
Yeah.
It's only going to last.
Yeah.
But, like I said, no correlation. Some really good stuff has come out first. Bad stuff has come out first.
Yeah.
Great come out easily. A lot of trash has come out.
Yeah, for sure. I guess part of the artistic process is discerning. Like no matter how you found the idea, you have to discern if it's one that you want to invest your time in or not. Let's take a moment. Let's listen to. I think we're starting with. We're starting with Sorry. We're starting with Atlantic Canyon's newest song, and it is quite a jam. So I'm going to mute my my microphone here, and we're gonna listen to this.
That was awesome.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, thank God.
We've had, I'm honestly glad to be sharing the technical difficulties of a first try at a new thing with friends of mine. Oh, am I not making sound now?
No, you are.
Oh,
for a second, when the song ended, you weren't, but you're good.
Oh, gosh, mercy. This is fun. I hope you guys all feel like your time is being well respected and spent.
Absolutely.
Even though this is basically everything I do is a little bit chaos. You can't hear me, Doug?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear both Doug and
Same.
Oh.
Oh no. Yeah. 40-degree day can hear me. What'd you guys in the chat think about the song?
I got
Doug is listening to us
phone.
Doug is listening on the Twitch. I think.
Oh boy.
He's gonna hear that.
Yeah, you just have to switch back and forth.
I've got to chat to him on my phone. Hold on.
Because the Twitch is delayed and stuff.
It is. Yeah.
Hold up.
Oh well, he's gone now. Mercy. Well.
Those screens, it's like the cat where it's like technical difficulties, and like.
Yeah. Trying new things is one of the lowest parts of everything I do. That's why I just play guitar and yell. You never have to learn again if you just do the same thing with all your ideas. Doug, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Awesome.
All right.
Doug, we're gonna start with you after the song here. Tell me like just the worst part of making independent music. Great for us.
God, that's a great question. So the worst part about making independent music, I guess for me, is constantly feeling like I don't have enough on hand to actually make the song complete. So my issue is I have, my acoustic guitar, my electric guitar. I have this thing here. It's missing a couple keys. I can't really do much with that. So, I'm on a budget. I've always been a budget musician. I've never spent a lot of money on it. I'm recording out of GarageBand. So one of my issues is that I constantly run into the potentially invisible wall of feeling limited by the resources that I have on hand. So there's a lot of people out there, actually, in particular, one of the blessings of IMF is the fact that if I do need something, I could reach out to somebody through a community now, or a network of people that are proficient in something else. So for example, when I reached out to Andrea and I asked her, hey, I need somebody that knows how to play strings because I can't. I'm quite terrible. Actually, I rented a violin a long time ago, just thinking, oh man, I could do this. I play guitar, violin, this strings. It's fine. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm also a member of that club for sure.
I put it up to my face and I was like, I'm worthless. I can't do this. So, it was really, really great to be like, I know this needs strings. I could reach out. But for a lot of musicians, I think the big issue and a really deflating aspect of it is you get sort of pigeonholed into a sound because you don't have the, either prerequisite knowledge to know how to advance that sound or don't have the things on hand to actually, easily access that. So, that at least for me was probably the worst part of independent music, and very, very much has improved since collaborating and sharing with others and being in a network where people that are good at one thing may not be good at another thing, and you can be there to pick them up.
Yeah. That's excellent, man. ADL, why don't you? Now that I want to hear more of your words. Now that your microphone is definitely going to work, and we have no more problems. Well, tell me something about just like the. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Please. Sorry.
Just great. I just want to hear what's awful.
When you first asked the question, the first thing that popped into my head was actually promotion.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not the making of the indie music, but if a tree falls in the forest and did you actually make the music? I don't know. So I hate it. That's pretty much all I have to say. I hate promotion. I hate thinking about it. I've talked to people about Playlist Push or not Playlist Push. What's the other one? Submit Hub. Haven't done it. I have submitted my music to a few local radio stations, like crickets on the other end.
Yeah.
It's just and I understand that we're in a business where you have to be pretty comfortable with rejection, right?
Yeah, big time.
So that's always something to work on for me. But yeah, I mean, and it's not even the fear of rejection, although that there's plenty of that. It's just that it's the not fun part that you have to sit down and think and do your research and then submit that and fill out this form and pay this money, and there's just no fun in it. And I just want to make the music. So that's if I were to say like the thing that I really hate the most, it's that.
Big time. It reminds me of that Oh, go ahead, Francis.
No, I was just gonna say I completely agree. I think promotions it's like you spend I think the whole part. See, when you're writing it, it's like it's fun, and then it's like it's coming up to release date, and then you're sharing it to your friends, and it's fun, and then it's out, and then you're like, okay, now what? I've just spent all that time on it, and then when you've got to do all that, it just feels like you're just being like a hindrance. Like you're posting it over your social medias and all stuff like that. Like it just feels like it's not going anywhere. Like especially if it's just you're sharing it to your friends. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it just feels like, what's the point of making it in the first place? Which is obviously not a good way to think, but it can get in your head when and then rejection or just if you spend a lot of time on something and then people are just don't like it or whatever, you're just like, I am nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the worst. But I suppose it's something you have to you just have to push through and remember the fun of it.
There's always a trap. I think in feeling so deflated or not that rejection actually compounding, feeling like it really it beats you down. Like, I mean, Submit Hub to me feels like gambling sometimes with the percentage rate and all that included with it. It's like, oh, we approve 10% of songs. Well, what really is the logistics behind that? Like, how do songs get approved? Is it because the song is good, or is it because you want that exclusivity or that certain aspect that you're not allowed to really accept? So rejection can sometimes come not genuinely from somebody actually enjoying or not enjoying your track, but from just not being able to break through yet.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's funny too, because when you create a piece of art, you're kind of externalizing thoughts or feelings in a way. But then all of a sudden you've externalized your judgment of it as well. You've said, okay, this is worth what somebody else tells me it's worth. I hope they're nice, know? And it's so easy to just have that. Nobody says, I want to feel that way about my song now. I want to feel that way about something I worked on. It's just something that we naturally gravitate towards. And it kind of reminds me of, there's this meditation type practice where you just spend time reminding yourself that you are not your feelings. Like, I am not sadness. I feel some sadness, and in the same way, I am not a bad artist. I am not a reject. That song was rejected. I feel rejected, because something about reminding yourself that feeling, that thought, and that sense of value on yourself and your art isn't even something that's real. It's something somewhere else, almost forcing its way in. But Andrew, you've never been rejected in your life. Why don't you tell us something you hate about being in independent music? I love that.
Yeah.
That it started with something that's not good, and now I'm just saying, what do you hate?
Yeah.
Tell me. Yeah.
I guess this has been a very specific thing for me, but it's been. I've had certain collaborative elements of my album that take way longer than I want them to. My brother mixed and mastered it, and it took him 4 months. And mind you, a lot of that was him learning. He produces hip hop. He's never done something like this, but he was learning. He got whole new plugins and everything to even tackle the project. And then right now I'm waiting on a mutual friend of ours to make the artwork for the album. And he just had a baby. So, I've been trying to obviously I can't push him too hard, but just that one thing especially frustrating. And I'll also say just the constant, back and forth, almost a bipolar level of feeling super motivated and feeling absolutely the opposite. When I sit down to write a song, I feel like I'm gonna make this song my bitch, if we can swear out here. And then
yes, we can.
And then in 30 minutes to an hour, it's that just plummets if I haven't latched onto something, and it takes another couple days for me to even get back to that point where I want to try writing music again. So yeah, I don't know. I do like making music. I will say most of what I've done musically has been as like a side man. I'll play guitar for somebody else, or I'll be in a band or something, but I'm never like front man. I'm never leading the thing. So just there's a lot that I'm learning about how to navigate that, because it's way different than just showing up to a gig and playing something.
Yeah. But your you like the song you're sharing today and the thing you have coming out, that's like your first attempt at writing your own whole thing, right?
Really, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I have like singer-songwritery stuff in like I have a SoundCloud that's full of stuff, but like none of it's something that's none of it's actually been released. Like none of it's on Spotify. It's just there in like one location. So this is the first time I've really actually put myself out there in that way.
Yeah. I've been terrible about actually keeping up with some of these comments, but I did want to point out 40 Degree Day finds it amusing that you're putting all your collaborators on blast over here.
Yeah, no, I mean, mainly my brother. Like he and I give, we give each other grief all the time.
But I also wanted to revisit what Papa Janinski said about the, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it fall or does it matter? And I love that he pointed out, bugs eat the fallen trees. Something's going to appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like it may be down the road. It may not be the target audience. Honestly, I often think that like when I'm playing guitar or something and my wife will send me like a video of my daughter dancing, I'm all like, okay, yeah, like that's a pretty good reason to have learned all this.
Yeah, for sure.
I just called my daughter the bugs on the forest floor. That's who I am as a person. But man, let's share the next song, you guys. Also I feel like I'm kind of rushing past the opportunity for you guys to talk to one another. Did anybody have anything to say to each other? I feel like I've decided everyone has somewhere better to be, and I'm just trying to get you there.
I was just gonna say I need to go run and get my laptop charger, so I'll just be 1 minute. I just didn't like interrupt anyone as I was.
No, you're fine.
What you're saying. Obviously, my laptop decides to not have any charge in it, so
it happens. It happens.
Well,
laptops be charging.
There was one thing I wanted to say. Now Frances is gone, so I guess I can talk about her. But like, she was saying, it's frustrating and it can be demoralizing after you put it out there and you see, it doesn't seem to go anywhere. But, when she said that, I thought about, okay, what was my initial goal in this whole thing? And I was like, if I can get 5 people I've never met before to hear my song and think, then I've accomplished something. So I feel like, I think I've accomplished something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just saying that's great. Like, that's a good outlook.
Yeah. And, Frances, I love her music. We've never met before, so there. And I've heard lots of people in IMF talking about her music and how much they like it. So,
For a year, finding that community just a year into music making, God, that's like a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, making music back then, you didn't really have all these things at your fingertips that you used to. And one comment, I mean, as an independent artist, can make a world of difference on whether or not you're capable of making that next track. So,
yeah, man, I probably would have stopped making my EP if not for IMF, because, in very early on in the process, I was able to float it out, in some of the like events we would have where we're sharing what we're working on. And get some feedback, and mainly just like positive, but also constructive things that people shared there. I think helped me to continue chugging along.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what you said, Andrea, I almost do it every time. I almost say the opposite of what you told me the right pronunciation is. The cool thing I think about what you just pointed out is like you set that goal. You didn't just have this like ambiguous idea of what success might be, and you said 5 people. If I can get 5 people to enjoy one of my songs, then that's going to feel pretty cool, and that's achievable. You know what I mean? There's a lot of human beings on this planet, and at least 5 of them are going to love your song, and I remember once Neon on the show talked about, and everybody. It's kind of a funny thing that we don't have Neon on this conversation. It seems like his music is like it would fit in perfectly with everyone else's music on the show. Also a '90s acolyte, but I remember he used the word like, oh yeah, like when I found IMF and people really dug my music, I knew I found my people. And it's like, that's it.
Amen.
It's like the internet's made the world a smaller place, and like the concept of community or the concept of my people, has to change with it. That's awesome. Doug, did you have something to add? I think I cut you off.
No.
Oh, awesome. Fine.
I was just being like, yes.
I like it. Let's listen to the next song. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, real quick. 40 Degree Day says 5 people you have an actual mutual appreciation for is greater than 5,000 anonymous plays from a playlist or something, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. Somebody told me one time that like basically counting plays on like a paid streaming service, by the time you're going to get enough plays on that streaming service to like make a financial difference in your life, you're also going to be like on tour and selling merchandise and selling albums, more than likely, So like the idea of organically building this huge money-making following on an anonymous, streaming site where nobody knows you and you don't know them, like that is way more of a. Oh, do you disagree, though?
Yeah. Well, look on the bright side. Maybe one of those. I don't know where they have Spotify mills, but somebody listen to your track. Hey, maybe they actually do like it. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
I agree. I think like a lot of people, especially like artists that are just starting out that kind of like want to make it or whatever, they kind of like want to get like loads and loads of streams and lots of that. But I think it's better, like what you said, to have actual fans, like people who are like commenting on your like stuff, being like, oh, I'm excited for your next song, or like I think even if you have just like a small amount of that compared to having like the numbers, I think makes like a massive difference. Because like I've obviously like seen like that written about, like when people are starting out, like don't go chasing numbers, because it might make a little bit more money, but I think it's not for longevity, if you know what I mean. It doesn't really make you feel like an artist. You're just it's like you're trying to catch a coin, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
maybe that's what people want, I guess. But like I think just having actual fans excited for your stuff, even if it's just like I said, 5 people, that's great, but then having 5,000 streams.
I remember a feeling when I first started like recording music and playing shows and like releasing stuff. I had a Facebook page, that's the thing you did. And I would write these long, like, here's what I'm doing, you guys. I'm releasing a thing. I'm writing a thing. I'm doing a thing. And nobody even read that stuff. Like my target was the faceless internet. Like I want the internet to know I'm important. And it's like, no, I really need like 4 friends to care. That's basically the real goal I should be focused on. But I would love to listen to the next song you guys have shared. Let me see here. Dreams, Francis, we're moving on to your song. You ready?
Hey. Which means I'll turn off so I don't hear it.
All right, awesome. I'm muting my microphone now.
Fighting in the sun, fighting in the snow. When it's pouring down, we still go. Slam broken doors, put your headphones on. Listening to Fleetwood Mac till you pass out. Do you remember those times? 'Cause I do. In my mind at night, dreams, 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 I got none. I found my photograph under your gun. Please, 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 fly to the sun. I sing a lonely song to watch you burn. Your eyes striking like emerald lightning. future not so blue. How I laughed that I ever thought they could be true. Do you remember those times? 'Cause I do. In my mind at night, dreams, 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 I got none. I found a photograph under your gun. Place, 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 fly to the sun. I sing a lonely song to watch you burn. Dreams, 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 I got none. I found my photograph under your gun. Place, 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 fly to the sun. I'll sing a lonely song to watch you burn.
Oh yeah. Whoops. The next
great.
song just immediately starts playing. Sorry about that. Francis, that's a jam. I have partially answered a question for you. I know that song is on Spotify. Is there anywhere else folks can check it out?
It's on SoundCloud, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I think it's on.
Did you put it on Bandcamp?
No, I haven't got Bandcamp yet. I haven't decided. I don't know what it is.
It's the best. Bandcamp's the best. Bandcamp is if Bandcamp had any sort of like decent streaming format, it would replace Spotify. I think completely.
Yeah.
Because I think I've seen some people on here, like on IMF, that sell like their merch on it and stuff. But I didn't. It's one of these things that I keep like. I do mean to use it in the future.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's on SoundCloud though. It should. It
Awesome.
should be.
Awesome. ADL, I didn't ask you either. Where all can people find your music? Sorry is a bop.
Yeah, you sold me on the Bandcamp. I don't have one yet, but I think there's one in my future.
Yeah, awesome.
There's a little bit of stuff on SoundCloud. I took most of it down because it was all demos. Made it private, just because some of a lot of it. I'm working on.
80% of the time, it works all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm on Spotify and all the streaming, all your typical streaming stuff, Apple, music, whatnots, and the YouTubes also.
DistroKid, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the DistroKid thing, so I'm on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can actually Shazam me. I paid extra for the Shazam. So actually, I paid extra knowing that no one's going to Shazam me, but I just wanted to Shazam myself.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with
I tried it.
Years later, you're going to hear yourself in a Kroger or whatever grocery stores are called there.
Yeah.
I know I tried it on one. I think I can't remember which one it was. Like one of my first ones, and I like played it out, and I was like, what is this? And I wanted them to like say it back because I thought it'd be cool. And it was like, I don't recognize this, and I was like, I paid 99 cents for this.
Doug, I think it's that app where you can like have your phone listen to the Kroger radio, and it's like this is probably a Black Keys song. Like that's usually what's playing in Kroger for some reason.
I did it in a Trader Joe's once. This old lady came up to me and asked me what the song was, and I was like, I don't know, but let's find out. And I whipped out my phone, and and it just blew her mind. It was like I think it was Annie Lennox or something, which I was kind of mad at myself for not knowing, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like this Papa Janinsky comment. Bandcamp is the ugliest best, and that was the way I should have said it from the get. Like that is absolutely true. But yeah, so we've spent some time talking about some of the just the worst parts, the challenges, and honestly, like, you guys did a really good job of like explaining how you've already made those better. I appreciate that. I think that's the kind of like personal drive, personal discipline, or like perseverance ability that makes an artist actually release things. You know, like, it's super easy to be like, I've got all these brilliant songs and I don't know how to record them. I don't know how to promote them. I don't, everything we've complained about, but like without the desire to force that part to happen, you know, it's kind of a both, and you've got to have that moment of spark of letting the music write itself to some extent, but then you have to know when to pick up with discipline and when to work for the next part of it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you guys have exemplified. Is that a word? Yeah, yes. Probably. You've exemplified that really well. Yeah.
I think there is a certain level of like, there was someone that said this, but I can't remember how they said it. So this is now my quote. But like, you have to have a certain level of self-aware narcissism to do music, because I think if you kind of like, if you doubt yourself, like, what's the point? What's the point of putting out a song if you don't think it's any good? Do you know what I mean? You have to kind of say to yourself, this is good. Listen to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that some people say it's a bad thing, but I think it's actually like, it's a good drive to have. And I think it's a very, you know, I think a lot of people that have that kind of drive are the ones like, I think it's the idea of, it doesn't matter how talented you are. It's more like how good you are at selling yourself. And I think if you have that push, it doesn't matter if you're putting out rubbish. If you tell everyone this song is amazing, people will think it's amazing. Do you get what I'm saying? There's that sort of level of it. And I think it can be quite hard to do that and train yourself to that. But I think it is quite a good characteristic to have it to do in music, rather than like self-doubting yourself. What's the point of that, you know?
Yeah.
It's amazing how good we are at being salesmen to our spouses or our friends, but as soon as we are dealing with strangers, we can't seem to have that same level of genuine ability to promote and sell and you know, be confident in our work.
I think I was just gonna say, like, I think what you said is correct, because it's like, with your friends, if you say to them, like, oh, check this out, and they're like, oh, that's a load of rubbish, you just go, oh, F off. Like, I don't care what you think. Whereas, like, if a stranger says that to you, you're like, which it should be the opposite, but, like, it's not. Like, I think you can fight. It's not so much fighting back, but I don't know. I think it's just, like, that comfortability with yourself to know that I don't care what they think. Do you get what I'm saying?
For sure. Absolutely. I think it's a friend and I often will talk about how, like, everything is like simultaneously both extremes. You know, like this idea of like, no, I'm a pure artist, I don't have to promote. And also the fact that like this pure artist character you've made yourself is allowed to promote. Like both of those can be true, and only you have decided it's one or the other always. You know? And even in situations where something is one or the other, it's usually a little bit of, it's more in the middle, you know, it's more of a balance between them anyway.
Yeah.
Doug, am I embarrassing myself?
No, you're doing great, man.
Okay. No, I'm seeing myself in the camera do this over and over again, and I'm like, what is Doug laughing at? What am
Looks
I?
Like you're hefting two grapefruits to decide which one to purchase.
Exactly.
Yeah. The ripest. No, the least ripe, because you want to eat it tomorrow.
I want to eat it today.
Welcome to fruit buying.
Now we're in our produce segment.
Let's talk about.
I've been selling fruit all day, so I don't want to see any kind of fruit or sales references, because I'm sick of selling stuff all day.
Do you ever sneak your mixtape in with somebody's like fruit basket?
No, but like, I should. I was just start putting it like in their bags. I'll just start putting my CD in, or like little cards I've got. Oh no.
Yeah. You're
my Instagram like
strawberries. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be a pretty cool experience. It's like
promotion idea.
You have to be like a
just played an
Yeah. You have to be like the wine guy at the restaurant, and you're like, oh, you got blueberries. I know just the song for blueberries. Here, listen to this song.
Yeah.
While you're enjoying those, you know, like you're pairing the.
when I'm at
ideas.
the till, I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
keep mentioning it because I've told people in my work that I do music, but now it's gonna go further. Even customers, they'll be like, "Oh, would you like a bag?" Also, if you got Instagram, you should go. You should go.
Yeah.
Look at this.
That's awesome. Yeah. Fantastic. I want to talk some about the opposite of these lowest low points because I feel like if you've been making music for like a year or most of your life, if you've been to college or if you just decided you're a musician, we've had life-changing moments that keep us going. Like I have weird moments that are years ago, but they still encourage me when something is challenging today because it happened at all. Those kinds of things. And I don't remember how we started last time, but ADL, let's start with you. Tell me, like, just the amazing thing that sticks with you from your time making music.
The amazing thing that sticks with me.
Yeah.
From all my time making music?
All of it. I mean, you can answer like 8 times. I don't even care. Just
okay. All right. Just I have to apologize. I can actually hear my 2 girls fighting with each other in the background, so I'm a little distracted. I actually just texted my husband, "Can you run defense?"
Hey,
so anyway,
just let them work it out. They'll get tired eventually.
I know. I think the thing I'm digging deep here. Through all my memories involving music is just that feeling of I don't know what the right word is, but just kind of recognition where you're just kind of like and it's even better when you're the one who wrote the music and someone recognizes you, like, hey, I see you. But when I haven't been writing music long, so my earliest memories are me listening to a piece of music and just being like, whoever wrote this sees me or would see me. Like I see this person. You feel like you have this kind of deep, profound understanding of exactly what's going on, with them, and what they're describing resonates with you so profoundly that there's this just gushing of emotion when you hear their music, right? And if I had a goal, that would be on the top of my list. So I mean, I remember hearing music and just being like, this person totally gets me. Or, and then when I was little, I used to listen to classical music. I'd listen to Dvorak. He's one of my favorite composers. And I'm just like, oh, this dude just totally gets me. He's been dead for 100 years, but like this guy gets me. And then there's this one song that was covered by the Fugees. What's it called? Killing Me Softly. And, one of the reasons why I really like that song is because that's what she's talking about in the song. She's like, killing me softly with his song, playing, what is she saying? Playing my whole life with his,
words.
With his words. Yeah, exactly. So like, this is a song about a woman who's hearing, a guy sing a song and she's just so moved by it because it resonates with her so deeply. So that feeling, I think, is the greatest thing.
Yeah, that song's a bop.
It is, yeah. Those guys can make anything a bop, honestly.
Yeah.
But so have you had and you don't have to get too like personal with the specifics, but have you had that moment where somebody told you your song gets me, your song really sees me where I am?
Yeah, and if the person is watching, I'm not sure if the person is, they know who they are. And we kind of had like an emotional kind of like, hey, I see you situation with one of the songs. So yeah, and it was like the most meaningful thing for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I will say that the spoiler alert, the song that Doug is sharing today is the one where you have accompanied him with your violin, and that violin gets me. It knows every feeling I've ever had. It's such a fantastic piece. But we will get to that in a moment. I don't want to cut anybody off. If anybody has anything to add to that specific line of thinking.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I wanted to touch on what Andrea said because I have a very specific story that related to that. And it was when I was doing music 15 years ago at that point. with Shifter Shapes. Very, very similar, actually, to kind of in the vein of Francis's music. Very, very pleasant, just simple vocal, guitar kind of stuff. And I had somebody send me something in the mail, pretty big package, and I didn't know who the person was. I figured somebody, a friend of a friend, gave my address, and it had a painting in it, and it had a letter. And when I read the letter, one of the things that it specifically called out was that there's this song I wrote called Fog. And it's specifically, they call attention to, it got me out of a dark place when I needed it. And as soon as that happened, that was a pivotal moment, I think, in my desire to continue to make music, because that capability to reach out to somebody and help them through a hard time, or help them to keep on going, was definitely a point that made me feel like my art or my music personally was able to make an impact or change the outcome of somebody's life potentially. And when you get that feeling, that ability to, get somebody through even just a hard day, tough day at work, they want to listen to your track and it can kind of get them out of the mood. That is the best goddamn feeling in the world.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
painting. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've got it somewhere around here. I don't know where it is, but yeah, it was just
wow.
It was a huge moment. But like, I think that there's a lot of people out there that maybe they aren't vocal, maybe they haven't told you, and there's a lot of fans. I guarantee everybody on this call, anyone listening to the stream, there's a lot of fans out there that haven't said anything to you. But trust me, your music makes an impact on people's lives. It might be a small impact, or it may be a great one, but there's ripples that happen, and sometimes we don't hear about them, but when we do, it's life changing for everybody involved.
Yeah. I think so. I think there's like and I hate to get into the topic of like defining the term art, because as everybody here knows, that's not a conversation
I hesitated.
we have.
I drew that back a little bit.
But I've heard one before that basically says like, well, art is something intentionally created that has no like survival value. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feed you, it doesn't keep you warm, it doesn't do any of this, but you made it on purpose. You spent time making it, and it typically will resonate. Like, that's the idea. It resonates with you in a way that doesn't lead to like immediate, hierarchy survival.
I think there's a caveat to that where, and this is where we're going. Sorry, but like, I think sometimes art can certainly, for you or for other people that hear it, have survival value.
Yes.
That's
vaguely where I was going.
Derailed your train. I just
go there, man. But you're just driving the same train. It's fine.
Yeah, I know music, like songwriting, is therapy for the songwriter, and often it can be for the listener as well.
Yeah, absolutely,
100%.
Yeah, I remember telling a friend a long time ago that like, I hate thinking my negative or painful experiences don't matter. Like, I hate the idea that like I went through some sort of suffering or some sort of pain that I can't turn into something that matters, that's useful. And often that is what would painfully explode onto my songs at that time. You know what I mean? It's like these very journal entry, thrashy, acoustic punk songs, But I've matured since then. I can sing now a little bit, but yeah, no, I mean, like, just the idea that like, I remember our good friend River brought up that like, it's almost like an exorcism when he writes a good song, like it like brings those feelings out.
I think
all you.
What we were saying earlier, I think like what Andrea was saying about like the good moments is, I think, see, when you've maybe written a song, like, even if it's like you're not produced it, you're not done anything, you've just written it, and afterwards sometimes you're just like, quite good, like, I really like that, like, you just have this like, I don't care if no one else likes it, but I actually really enjoy playing it, and I really love what I just written. I think that is such like a a personal sort of moment where it's like it's like when you listen to one of your favorite songs or you play one of your favorite songs, to do that, but it's your own song. I don't know. I just think it's really nice, you know.
It
the
is,
genuine nature of just being in love with your work, being
Yeah.
proud of doing it for you is a monumental change for everybody in anything outside of music. I mean, your ability to actually kind of guide your own life and be willing to sit down and write the song for you and like it yourself. I think that speaks a lot to your ability also to promote yourself in the future and have that confidence to step out of your comfort zone and say, hey, I like my stuff. I'm willing to actually share it now with you. And I think you'll like it too.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love whenever I can listen to like one of my old songs and still get like a little teary over it.
Yeah.
Like nobody understands me more than that kid, and nobody understands that kid more than me. You know?
Yeah.
Yourself,
Exactly.
you know, like
it's
like you're saying, it's like even if no one else is seeing you, it's like, well, I see myself. Who cares?
yeah, it's powerful.
I do think it goes back to the kind of I think we're answering the if the tree falls question, and what we're saying is that the tree falls no matter what, and it doesn't matter if no one's there to hear it because the tree fell. So, like, you know, I've been watching too much Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he was talking about, like, you know, the early, you know, ancient man and the early, you know, writings on the wall, and what is that? I think that's a hardwired inclination for human beings to want to just be able to say, hey, I was here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And whether someone else sees it or not is irrelevant. You know, we put our music out. It's great. It's a bonus if someone sees it or not. But I think our art, our music is our way of writing on the wall. I was here.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think of it.
Yeah. We're
Definitely.
the tree. We're the tree.
We are the
man.
tree, yeah. Unless
We are.
unless the seed fall, it cannot produce fruit. You know what I mean? The Bible, you guys. I'm talking about the Bible. Anyway, let's move. Let's listen to the song Doug brought. Doug, before we even start it, can you tell me when does the EP come out?
EP comes out April 16th. It'll be available on Spotify, on YouTube. It will be available on Google Music and all of the other fun places that DistroKid distributes to.
Yeah.
Good old DistroKid. I tell you what, like they are not a sponsor of this show, but they're fitting to be. I'm gonna say, hey guys, we talk about you every episode. You've got to give me some money or whatever.
Right.
DistroKid. It's the choice of a generation.
There was a point in time earlier in the conversation where it felt like it was the first part of like an ad for Submit Hub or something, and we hadn't got to the actual ad yet.
Yeah.
It's like when YouTubers like sort of like start their advert and they just start talking about it, and then they're like, "So this is today's sponsor. We'll put a link in the bio."
Yes.
I think that's where I was going there.
This weekend I didn't feel like cooking, and I got a box of fish in the mail and made that instead.
Just got my deposit from DistroKid as soon as I mentioned it. So
yes, yeah. Every time we say DistroKid, I make 5 cents. So let's keep going. All right. I'm gonna hit play on this song, guys.
Beach the boat. Step ashore. Light ahead. All my fault. Oh my God. You saw it through. She keeps afloat for me. Still in love with me. Honestly, it's all gone wrong. I call the cops, call your friends. Death is not the end. It's the realization. Things I've never said. The words are leaking.
Wait, I can't hear him.
Oh, yeah, I can't hear you.
Sorry,
Now
I
I
thought
can.
I unmuted. I've been talking from like the second half of that song on. You guys didn't hear any of that? I was saying some really wise things, some really owl-ish wisdom dropping. No, I was just saying that it's great. That's a wonderful song, and
Thank you.
I just the whole EP. I love how you got each song to kind of feel like one big continuation. You know.
It was actually, you hit on something a couple days ago where you were saying I normally wouldn't listen to a song about a murder, but that it was written. I was really, really trying to not hit on that one note of it being this savage thing, and kind of captures something maybe a little bit more so about mental illness rather than being feeling.
Yeah, that's really what came through for sure.
One of my favorite songs is Casimir Pulaski Day by Sufjan Stevens, and it's about or wait, no, not that one.
It's John Gacy,
John Wayne Gacy Sr. or whatever. About like this, just the worst kind of like serial killer imaginable, but like, I mean, he even tries to like relate to that person in the song. Like it's eerie, it's creepy, but it's like beautiful. And similar vibes for sure.
Yeah.
It was interesting when I was listening to that song. I didn't even hear the lyrics. I was like, wow, this is really beautiful. Then I went back and listened to it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's a hard one to listen to for sure.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Francis?
I was just saying I love songs that kind of like do that, like that sort of tap into like maybe like the darker themes of music. Like sometimes it can be kind of controversial, like if people like, because there's always like that stick about like romanticization and all that. To me, it's like when it comes to music, it's like whatever. But like I think this is something really like haunting, or it's like writing a story. Like, you know, no one ever criticizes like an author for writing a book about a murderer. But you know, you've seen, I'm sure, like you could think of like artists that do that like in their music, and they sometimes maybe get a bit of stick for that. But I don't know, I just think it's like a great concept to like think outside the box rather than and create stories, you know what I mean? Like, and take something so haunting. I don't know, I just really like the idea.
Yeah. I think it's almost like, no, I was just gonna say it's almost like something you can challenge yourself to do. To like you don't think the murderer is right as the writer, but like you can try your hardest to use words to write a story that suggests something that not even you believe in a way that I don't know, you can identify.
It's like being on the wrong side in debate team. You know, you have to like try to make that point anyway.
It's interesting. I feel like there's a stigma, specifically when you talk about like writing and true crime fiction and things like that. There's an aspect about music that I feel like it stigmatizes itself into a certain emotion more so than actually the depth of the content itself. So, for example, I want to listen to metal music because I'm feeling angry. Well, okay, but there's layers of anger too. So, you know, when you talk about like listening to a song about anger, okay, great, fine. Not a lot of people, many people don't really care about the lyrics in metal. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, you might think to yourself, "Oh man, I don't agree with any of this." So there's an aspect of it that I feel like a lot of musicians get this feeling. Oh, I want to write a happy song. Okay, what is happy though? Like, so when you dive in a little bit deeper, if you're somebody that really likes to peel through a lyric book, you know, being a songwriter, the challenge of writing lyrics can be then. You can find yourself being put in a box, I think, when you're writing lyrics.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I think especially like we were saying, like heavy metal, I think they get a lot of stick if they write like lyrics that are maybe like anti-Christian or like hip hop even. You know, like some of the top, like I mean, like look at Eminem. You know, like if you listen to some of the lyrics, you know, but it's like it's about, like I said, it's just like a story, and some people just don't seem to get that. You're just writing a story and you're just singing it. It doesn't mean you want to do the things you say in your lyrics, or that you like those things or whatever. It's just a expression, you know.
Right. And this is a great time to bring up that I do not condone murder. But yeah, that's all I want to say.
I was going to say by the end of the album, by the end of that EP, I wasn't sure if the murder was real. You know what I mean? Like that just as well could have been part of like the delusion to me, you know.
That's even better.
Yeah. But maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe it's real. Maybe it actually happened.
Maybe we're
and
all
Doug
the murder.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is
The
the
cover
part
story.
where, as somebody, if you get that question, just don't answer and leave it up to people's imaginations, because
Yeah.
you don't know the answer.
Let it float, man. It's fine. I wanted to talk before we move on from song chat. I wanted to talk about this freaking cover art that our good friend. Well, I can't do both apparently. There we go. Our good friend JB made. I think JB, you can find him on Instagram as JB Cover Art. I'm pretty sure, right?
JB cover art, I think, yes, and then there's JB Illustrations as well as his site, but I'm not sure.
Every single link anybody could possibly need to find JB and get similarly fantastic artwork for your music or your project, whatever it is, will be in the notes wherever you're watching or listening to this, which will be like YouTube and Spotify and all those places. JB is fantastic. The show doesn't have any actual like sponsors or advertisements. It's funny, we were just talking about I thought you were about to start like an advertisement for GitHub. I don't have any sponsors or advertisements. A Kickstarter early into the concept of this idea gave me all the funds I need to do it for quite a long time, and that's all I really need. I just need enough money to put it on Buzzsprout. So all the time that a normal show would dedicate to getting paid, I can dedicate to shouting out people who like legit deserve it and are fantastic, like JB Cover Art. I think everyone should. If you don't have, let's make him so important that if you don't have an album or an EP with some JB Cover Art on it, you're not cool anymore. You're out of here. But yeah, I wanted to shout him out. I wanted to spend some time. How easy was he to work with, Doug?
You couldn't ask for somebody better, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's worked actually on a couple of different covers for me, and the process has always been really, really straightforward and collaborative. He's always made me feel like I was part of the creative process, even though illustration is really not my forte. So that's always a nice thing to have. An artist that understands it better, bringing you into and including you in that creative process to really make sure that you get the end product you want. So JB is fantastic to work with.
I agree. I usually just home make my art because everything I make is a little bit homemade. But the one time I've actually worked with JB, within an hour of me and AV giving him an idea, he had like 17 versions of it. He was like, "Hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about these colors?" And I was like, "Oh wow, I figured you'd just say this is the thing. This is what you got." Yeah, it was cool. I really enjoyed working with him. We have not talked about the best moment in two of your artistic careers. Call it a career, right? Y'all wear ties when you make music, right?
Always.
Yes.
Yeah, then it's a career.
Always.
It's a career.
I'm not in a tie. I'm wearing a tie right now. You just
yeah, it's under the clothes. It's one of those under the clothes ties. Francis,
do they
tell
make
us
body ties?
Belts? Is that a belt?
if a belt had a dangly bit.
yeah.
I've technically got a tie. This is something.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, lanyard. That's very professional as well. Francis, what's been the most encouraging, fantastic, best moment of your time making music?
I think I don't know if this was like I don't know. I think one of the first times I ever shared anything I had written on IMF, like even though it was like a really bad version of, I think it was Taking My Heart, that like a demo version, and like I was really, really nervous about it because like I remember it was on the live community review, and everyone's like got like these like interfaces and all this fancy equipment, and I was just like, I recorded it on my phone. But then people were just so nice about it, even though I listened back into it and I hate it now. But like I don't know, it was just hearing. I don't know if it was like the best moment, but it was like one of the first moments of like, like just having people that you don't know actually just be like, this is good. Like I really like this. Like, it's really pretty. You've got a good voice, whatever. I don't know. It was a small thing, but it was a really sort of encouraging thing that kind of kept my momentum and pushing me to want to get better. And, I really appreciated that. And I really liked that.
I think IMF has shown me how very important it is to hear what something is and not what it isn't. You know what I mean? Like hear exactly what ideas and talent and concepts are being shared, and not the way I'd fix it right away. You know,
Yeah.
because we're all on different points in our skill level. And I mean, a beautifully written and meaningfully performed song recorded on a cell phone is going to be something that gets way more playtime for me than a lot of other stuff that's, you know, been made $1 million studios and all that kind of stuff. Like,
It's more special. It's more special. I as a kid, I mean, like I always listened to stuff that was terribly recorded. You know, but there's a sincerity behind that. There's a rawness that I think comes out when you have those recordings and you're just working with what you have, that makes me feel a little bit more like good for them, you know.
Basically me with my lovely my Dolby sound recordings have saved my life.
yeah. That there's that quote that, like, every time I read the quote, it's you know, it's attributed to a different person. But I think like Duke Ellington and Miles Davis, those kind of guys, they always get attributed with it. But it's something to the effect of there's only two kinds of music, good and bad. Like genres don't exist. There's just good and bad. And often whenever I think like, well, how do you define good music? It's personal, you know, there's a lot of personal to it. But for me, it always just has life in it. It's alive. It hasn't been sterilized in a way. It hasn't been over perfected, you know what I mean, into a sterile place. Like it kept life no matter how professional it got. And I think that is something that is very easy to hear in shitty recordings on cell phones. You can hear the life, you know? Yeah. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, so one particular moment comes to mind. It was in my freshman year of college. And I was at the point I was playing in like 5 ensembles, and it was coming up to finals week, and I was playing in a musical as well. And in the musical, I was playing like 2 different guitars. Like I was playing or 3, I think. It was just insane.
Yeah.
And after one of the performances of the musical, which like I kind of had this general feeling like I wasn't doing anything of value in it. Like there's maybe one moment where I, you know, in the whole show where I felt like I did something that was kind of cool. But then this guy came up to me afterwards and he said he was having a hard time like focusing on the musical because he was so intrigued with my guitar playing. And part of me now is like, maybe that means I was like playing, you know, too much or something, you know. But it was just like the idea that even when I felt like I wasn't doing anything great, like I was still having, you know, an impact on him. I think that was cool. And I ended up you know, we were pretty good friends all throughout you know, my college time. And then I guess another thing in general, this is more vague, that was a very specific thing, is just when you're playing with other musicians in a live setting, and you kind of get into a state of like flow where everything's just working, and where the stars are aligning, you know, kind of just the music is happening, you know, everyone's on it. Those kinds of scenarios, which I find are fairly rare, are just probably what keep me coming back to music. And maybe that's one of the reasons why this year has been a little bit hard when live music is like, I just pulled out my guitar. I'm playing at an Easter service this weekend, and it's like the first time I've actually like we had a rehearsal. I was like, oh yeah, other people exist. But yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like the first thing you shared, it reminds me that sometimes like just being competent is impressive. Not being like, look at me, you know, not showing off your solo skills, but just saying like, I know how to lay back. Often with drummers are praised for their ability to not overplay, you know.
Totally.
But that applies to pretty much any kind of music. But yeah, the flow, man, I love the flow state, and it's the kind of thing that as soon as you notice it's there, it's gone, because now you're thinking about the flow state, you know.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, if ever I can fully turn off my brain, it's usually a pretty good gig.
Yeah. What about live performing? Doug, I think you've shared that that's not something that you've done a lot of.
Never.
Yeah.
Outside of karaoke. That's basically it for me. And one of my big holdups is honestly, it's actually interesting you brought that up, because one of my big holdups is I am abysmal at playing and singing at the same time, and I don't really write songs in which I can alternate between those two things. So I always just found myself on Reddit because I was feeling a little bit down about it, and I was like, are there any artists that have this issue, like famous artists that cannot play and sing at the same time? Found out Frank Zappa can't, oddly enough.
Weird.
King,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Apparently, in his book, he wrote that my brain literally cannot; it overloads if I try and sing and play simultaneously, and that gave me a little bit of boost. I've been trying to reach out in my networks to see if there's some people that I can get together with that can help me in actually performing and being able to just sing, because that's really what I like to do.
I think a tip, because it was something I struggled with when I started, because obviously I wanted to do, acoustic and sing, and I don't know if you can actually hear me. I find for learning to do that, I think it's, well, obviously you have to pick something simple first, like just like chords, but I think you kind of have to really be good at practicing and doing something really slowly over and over. Like, I remember when I first did, Rape Me by Nirvana, like the chorus, it sounds really easy to play, but see, when I first did it, I couldn't do the strumming pattern and sing it at the same time. And I think I spent probably about 2 hours just repeatedly playing that chord, like the chorus. And every time I messed it up, I would stop and then do it again, and then slow it, and then eventually it started to piece together. And then I think it's one of these things that once you get it once, it will fall, it kind of comes together. I think it's just about it. You really do need to, like, sort of find out what part of it isn't working, and then fix. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds really stupid to say, but it's just something. It's literally, I think you can do it as long as, because I can't do two things at once. So I just kind of I just practiced it, and eventually it clicks.
Yeah, it's a level of discipline that you have to have with yourself, and being comfortable of not wanting to just off the bat make progress. And it's something I struggle with. I mean, I have ridiculous ADHD. I'm shaking, pretty much my whole entire body is shaking underneath the camera. So, I'm just constantly thinking, okay, I want to make a song. I'm going to do it now. Go. And I'll play it. I'll throw some stuff down real quick, but it's really those parts of being like, I need to write this down so I don't forget how to play it. I need to, sit down and actually really internalize what I've been doing, and make sure that I can confidently do this without having to rely on, doing everything in separate segments. So,
I think there's quite a lot of discipline that's like needed, because obviously, like, I only started last year, but when I was younger, I had a very strict piano and trombone teacher. So from a young age, I kind of was taught how to practice. Because some people think that if you play something for 8 hours, you'll be good at it. No, you can play something for 2 hours and be good at it. It's about working smart rather than working hard. That's my mantra for life. It's to never work hard, just work smart. And I think if you can do that, like if you even just write down, like, I want to get this chorus and singing and like playing at the same time down, and you just spend, do you know what I mean, like, rather than get distracted, like, it can be really hard, but I think it's like one of these things that it does require a self-discipline, that it can be quite hard to teach yourself that, but I think it's something that once you do it a couple of times, it kind of clicks.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I've noticed the better I get at recording, the worse I get at performing. Because recording is very like, okay, I'm going to play this one riff over and over again until I get it right. Whereas in performing, if I mess up recording it, I start over. In performing, if I mess up, I cannot start over. Like I've got to correct, and like get to that next downbeat on the right chord. Which is
I did a lot of editing in my EP. A lot of subtle quantization and stuff, just like, because I'd rather keep the energy of a first take rather than go for a perfect take. If if I
Yeah,
write what I think like the good part is, I don't want to repeat that over and over until it's great. So I'll just, nudge things a little bit. And at least that was my creative process for the first EP. That might change. But
Maybe I'm alone in this, but one of my biggest fears, and I don't know if it's irrational or not because I've never really performed live, is the paralyzing fear of missing a note and then not being able to actually sync up with everybody ever again during a song.
Oh yeah.
Like just thinking, well, I'm on my own now, doing my own thing. I don't know where I am.
I love this because I feel like I'm the complete opposite. I think it's because it's just like the different backgrounds. Because I hate recording myself. Like not because I don't like hearing myself. I just hate the idea of getting it perfect. I like performing because I feel like it doesn't have to be. If you go on stage and playing, like it doesn't matter if one of your notes is wrong, because you keep going. Whereas in recording, it has to be right, or it won't sound good. I really enjoy performing. It's something that's never, like, I've done it for a while, so like it doesn't bother me. If anything, I much prefer it to, like, see when like we do like the open mics and stuff, like the idea of doing it on camera like kind of freaks me out. I hate being on camera. Whereas like, see, if I was to stand on stage, it's something that doesn't really, like, obviously you get nervous, sure, but like I find it really enjoyable. I like the chaos of it, I suppose. There's too much perfection in recording that I don't like. I like the chaos. It's more fun.
That's life. There's a beauty in imperfection, and it's something that a lot of us, whenever I hear somebody as perfectionist, I think that's a tough life.
Hard.
Right? You're never going to be perfect. And we danced around this a little bit with talking about recordings and then being a little bit, more organic, or just right there on the spot with just whatever you had on hand. And there's this, you capture things and aspects of life because nothing is ever perfect. There's a beauty in that imperfection that, to your point, Francis, getting up on stage and missing a note, that's special to that one moment, and it might not ever happen again.
Yeah.
It's
never about the note you're playing. It's always about the one you follow up with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That can be hard to do. Like the amount of times, like that's one thing I was taught when I was younger, is that if you mess up, especially it's worse. Like, see, on piano, like, see, if you mess up, you just kind of want to go back and change it. But like I said, for doing it for so long, it kind of gets to the point where it's like you mess up. Oh well. It's gone now. You gotta keep going. It's obviously sometimes the whole thing falls apart afterwards. It doesn't always go swimmingly. But that's like there's been times where I've messed up and did a wrong note, and then I played amazing after that. There's times where I've been playing great, and then it all falls apart. And so like I don't know. This is something I quite like about that. I don't know. Probably
I've been in that experience that you've talked that you were talking about, Pult, exactly once, that in recent memory, in terms of like my adult post-college playing life. It's happened to me once, and it was the drummer started a song that was supposed to be in 3/4 in 4/4 or something, and like I was the person in the band who knew what had happened and was trying to fix it that whole time, and I can tell you that experience was excruciating for like 3 minutes, but then we all laughed about it and got over it, and like the audience was maybe, it was a little bit like, what happened there, but no one died. It wasn't catastrophic.
Yeah, no one died. Hey, that's a really good way to judge your live success.
The good thing about
if there aren't any double murders while you're playing.
Yeah. What were you saying, Francis?
I was just saying, the good thing about, like, see, when you play live events, half the time people are drunk. So, like, if anything, it's a experience. Like, you're playing drunk, the people who are watching drunk, it's like no one cares. As long as there's something, as long as there's noise. Like I play in a jazz band, and it's like we were on stage, and we were all like, pints galore, and everyone was like, whoa, dancing, and like, God knows what we were playing. Like, no one cares.
Yeah.
It was
Where do you play jazz that people dance? I've never had that experience. That sounds awesome.
Well, it's more like swing band, so I suppose that's
okay, cool.
That's a big thing. So like people, it was like a fancy dress, and like it was great. They offered it. They said to us that like, oh yeah, we can't get paid for it because there was quite a lot of us, but they said they would give us free drinks, and like I think they regretted that because like the whole brass section, we were just like, right, beer, we want it all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great.
Andrea, I don't think we need a tiebreaker, but I do need you to weigh in. You've played live, but you have not played live as Atlantic Canyons, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So are you itching? Are you itching to bring these songs to the world?
I share Doug's apprehension in the sense that, what you've created in a recording, now you have to recreate in a live setting, and that is not easy to do. And if you follow your favorite bands, you see them live, you'll probably notice that some of them are better than others at recreating or adapting rather, their album, whatever album that they've just released and they're promoting, into a live show. And some are better than others. Some of my favorite bands totally suck at it. There are other bands that just the live show is just so good that it's actually better than the album itself, and I'm just completely blown away. But yeah, I mean, I share Doug's apprehension on that, because I think you really do have to it's not just a practicing thing. You have to really just like kind of sit and think, like as an architect, it's like you're like, okay, I have this as my blueprint or my plan, and I have to make that into something in the real world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in some ways your recorded music is not real world, right? You can pitch edit it, you can comp a vocal, you can change a MIDI note. It's so much it's just so different. And you can do this, and you can take however much time you want to do it. And I also wanted to say that, like, it is an acquired skill to be able to just Bob Ross it when you're live. Like, so my live experience, although I've never done anything with Atlantic Canyons, what Francis says is absolutely true. You make a mistake, you roll with it. You pretend it never happened, and I guarantee you 98% of the audience isn't even going to notice. And that's happened too, where like I've gone to a live show and they totally made a mistake, and I know I'm the only one who picked up on it, because I've listened to their album like inside and out, and I've memorized like everything. I know the BPM. I know, and I'm like, oh, they made a mistake.
Yeah. But that's part of the show. That's part of the whole experience.
But that's kind of cool.
I have a bad habit as a performer of whenever I make a mistake, I laugh very obviously. So everyone, I just broadcast it, and it's fine. Like no one cares. But it's probably something that, like, if I ever want to get to the next level, I should probably work on that.
I'd say laughing about it is good, because I think if you start freaking out over it, you're going to be like, messing up. Whereas if you just sit there and laugh, the audience knows you've messed up, but at least they're laughing with you rather than at you. So it's
think of it.
I definitely I like to laugh at myself when I fail. I think it means that they can't laugh at me.
I've seen bands live, like Decemberists. They made a mistake and they owned up to it, which also was a great kind of moment to connect with your audience, which is always such an important thing in a live setting, right? It's just I am human here.
Mere mortals.
Look, I'm trying my goddamn best, okay, people. But it's a great way to just kind of like lean out and connect with your crowd and audience. And I really, really have to just get over myself and understand, mistakes happen and it's okay. That's the beauty of making music, is it's those organic moments where sometimes you make a mistake and it's amazing, right? Like that harmonic that the guitarist from ZZ Top, when he was recording on the Queens of the Stone Age, his beard hit the strings and it actually harmonized. It made a harmonic sound. And it's like, well, that was a mistake, but it was incredible. They left it in the recording. So those moments happen where, it goes the other way and it actually ends up in your favor.
Yeah. For me, it comes back to like this idea, like when you get really good at performing live, that too can feel like you've taken the alive out of your art. And whenever you're able to joke about a mistake, that means you really are a human being standing in front of me. I saw Jason Isbell play live, and he started the first verse again, like in the second verse's spot, and he stopped the whole band, and he was all like, "Well, congratulations, you guys! You just got like 8 bars of free music because I messed up." And then they picked back up where they left off. But Andrea, I think did you have something else?
Oh yeah, while you guys were talking, it made me also think of I'm a huge fan of Depeche Mode, and there used to be like this huge internet Depeche Mode community that I was, tuned into. And someone once asked, like, why do you guys follow Depeche Mode? Kind of like Fish, where people just follow them around the country when they're on tour. And someone gave a great answer, and they were like, like you're just seeing them play the same songs over and over again. They were like, no, because every single performance is different. And they explained, like, one time I was there, and Martin Gore had his guitar, and he accidentally turned too quickly and hit Dave Gahan in the face with his guitar, and he touched his head and kissed him. It was like, sorry. He's like, I'm so sorry, dude. And just that's a mistake, right? But that's kind of made that particular performance unique, and that's why they keep going back and forth, because it's not the same every single time. It's not like listening to the same album song over and over again, and sometimes it is the mistakes that kind of give it the quality.
Like you don't know what's going to happen. Like you might go the fifth time, but God knows what's going to happen, and that's the fun part of it,
Yeah.
Oh
Definitely.
My. You guys, I hate to do this. I feel like we could talk forever and ever, but I do think we're getting very close to Life's Everyday Soundtrack time.
Oh, Life's Everyday Soundtrack is canceled. I can tell you that.
What did you do that in?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you seem pretty confident about that.
You seem like maybe you canceled it. What happened here?
Dark underdoing.
Oh, did she hang up on me? She got so mad she hung up.
Wow. And she disconnects, only incriminating her further.
It's true. Hey, you're back. Hey. What happened? I didn't get that announcement.
There were some technical difficulties on I don't want to go into it because somebody but anyway, so it's canceled. It's rescheduled to next week.
Well, awesome. That means we get to talk a little bit about it. Anybody listening to this week should be prepared to watch that next week, which will be April the 10th. I know for sure, Andrea, you have a song on this.
I do, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Really excited. Yeah. And I've got a really corny video to go with it.
Oh, perfect.
I love videos. Videos are the best at this point in my life. For some reason, I'm like, I think I'm becoming, I'm as a Pokemon, I'm going from songwriter to music video maker. Like I'm transforming into another creature because I'm obsessed with the idea of making music videos all of a sudden. It's weird.
As a Pokemon, I figure you would just shout your name all the time.
I do. Yeah. I'm basically constantly. Anytime I get an opportunity to say Barabbas T-Rex Jones, I say the full thing. I can't not say all of it. But yeah, anyway, we've got one more song to share. Andrew, you too have an EP coming out.
Yes.
But you've got a single release before. Why don't you tell me instead of me trying to guess first?
Yeah. So what had happened was basically I'm releasing this EP. Right now I'm there's one last hurdle, one hiccup I'm kind of waiting on. Once I have that, the whole thing will be released. I'm gonna play one song today that's absolutely far and away my favorite thing on the record. And then next week I'm going to be releasing a different song. And my hope is a May 1st release date. If that doesn't happen, it'll probably be around the lines of May 15th, but definitely sometime in May I'll be releasing the whole EP.
Awesome. Awesome.
Right now I only have one song on Spotify, etc. So after next week I'll have 2 songs. So that's double.
Yeah. And of course links to all that will be in the show notes as well for anybody listening. You don't have to jot down Django Fett 01 and try to find that on the internet.
Yeah, you won't get far. You'll find my life.
I mean, you'll find some Star Wars fan fiction probably.
Yeah, well, I'm just really into Revan from Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. Awesome. I am going to. I'm going to say that basically after this song, that's the end. So if anybody has anything you want to say before I hit play, speak now.
Just want to say it was fun, guys.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah,
I'm nice to see your faces.
Yeah, it was a nice addition.
Yeah,
I think.
Unexpected.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I did not do a good job of telling.
The fear I had when it came on, I was like, "Oh no, I'm in the house now."
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I think it was very fun too, and I'm excited to share it with more people.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, Papa Janinski has been straight up running the chat. He's good, and he thinks it was a great group of guests. and 100% growth in musical output. He points out,
yes,
Andrew, which is,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. You know,
That's you don't get those kind of growth numbers every day.
If it was a chart on a wall, a very important person would be pointing at it happily.
By the time the EP releases, it'll be 400%. If my math is not flawed.
Yeah, hockey stick chart. Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, I'm hitting play on this, guys. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Peace.
Love you, man.
that was amazing. I'll say, yeah. I couldn't just bail on the call without saying I really liked that song. But again, thank you guys so much for talking to me. This has been a lot of fun, and I will not sleep until you're all famous. That's my promise. Awesome. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, man.
Take care, guys. It was really fun.
See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.